So if you see a character appear frequently in the log, having done, for example, hostility catalysts, you might want to get rid of them if you're going for conciliation.
Which is a little bit ironic. We're gonna be peaceful, but I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah, you will learn of our peaceful ways by force.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the weekly Crusader Kings 3. It has been a while. I am Elisabeth, programmer on Crusader Kings 3, and I'm joined today by...
Alexander Altner, the game director on CKIII.
And you are elsewhere.
I am visiting our office in Malmö, where Paradox Thalassic is located. I'm here to celebrate Fate of Iberia together with them.
So we are having a bit of a special day today because, as mentioned, the new flavor pack Fate of Iberia is out, and we are going to be highlighting and breaking down some of the features you can find in the flavor pack, which you can find on Steam. But we're going to go straight into this one, starting off with the new bookmark.
A beautiful new bookmark highlighting the history we updated. We spent a lot of time and we got a lot of help with improving the historical setup for Spain. And these characters are the result. A very colorful cast of Christians and Muslims fighting it out for the fate of Iberia. Which one do you like the most, Elisabeth?
Oh, I mean, there is always, the Count of Santiago, but that is also because, do you want to build the Cathedral or Basilica de Santiago? Everyone is like, we've been having multiplayer quite a bit with this, and there's always someone playing them, and they're just going, do you want to fund the great project? And just keep asking for money to make it because they want to get it early.
There's a lot of new unique buildings with unique graphics. They're all over Spain.
They are.
Some are constructed and some are not.
So
maybe we can take a look at some of them.
I think we're going to go with the Count of Santiago. As much as fun as... Oh, we're not going to be doing Iron Mode. Give me a second here. Turn that off. Goofy the Hairy real? Is Goofy the Hairy real? Asks chat.
All of them are real. So, Joffrey, I think he is one of possibly 5 or 8 different Joffreys living in the very same area. Maybe I'm actually mixing him up with some Bernards.
There were a
lot of people with very similar names living in an area around there.
Here in Santiago, already mentioned, it is the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela. Or the Basilica de Santiago of Santiago de Compostela. It is powerful, and I can see why they were like, do you want to fund the great project? But we also have
it's not too expensive either. It's just 1,000 gold.
We also have another one that's already built. We have the it's not held by us, but we have the Forum Regatorium, which is the lighthouse.
A lighthouse.
That is inspired by the library. No, the library. I say, the Lighthouse of Alexandria. And if you are a Viking player, this might be in your ballpark because naval speed and embarkment cost is pretty good in addition to the taxes. Is the church upgradable? I think it's only on 1 tier.
You can preview it.
Yeah, it's just on 1 tier.
Yep, 1 tier. It's a really fun one. The Rock of Gibraltar. The diplomatic range symbolizes how important this pass was to control. I think it's a fascinating special building to have.
And gives you some extra options too because of that. You just having that little extra reach. We also have which of these buildings is your favorite? It's gonna have.
I do like the old Roman ruin, the Alhambra, of course.
Of course. We can. We'll get back into that one just in a second. It's gonna be right here. It's currently it's just there. I believe this was the one I think cannot be upgraded.
It can be upgraded,
but we don't hold it right now. But it's just the first set.
Ah, the Bells of Santiago. Now, this is a really funny, tiny mechanic that goes on when you play in Spain. This happened historically that these bells, church bells, were stolen, melted down, and reforged into something else. And then those things were stolen or reclaimed and melted down and made into church bells again. And this repeated, and you can do this in the game.
So
if you're so the Bells of Santiago here is the Christian version of this artifact. And if you're a Muslim, you can actually attack with the relic CB to take it, which is very funny. And then you can melt it down and make it into an aquamanil. And then all the Christians can attack you to take the aquamanil and make it into church bells. And this can go on for a while. So the struggle system targets an area, and then it provides a rule set for everyone involved in that area, as in they have their capital there and their faith and culture is involved. And then it gives them various tools or rewards for doing things that are unique to a phase. And these phases are not permanent, they shift as the game goes on, but depending on various actions you take. And you do this through catalysts. For example, if you want to move from the opportunity phase to the conciliation phase, you might pursue some friendships with other rulers. If you want to go towards the hostility, you can go and get claims on your neighbors, for example.
And we have, as you say, we're currently in the opportunity phase. There are hostility and conciliation, 2 places we can go. And in the list, there's a list here where, we have some events here.
Friend event.
The friend event. Something to note is that we are currently, we're steward. We are stewardship focused. We have stewardship. Just need to set the wealth focus here. But we don't really have anything in the diplomacy through yet. We can befriend people. We can scheme to befriend. And this is because one of these effects from being involved in the struggle. As an example.
Yeah, you can show off the phase effects. As you can see, they're divided into military, cultural, religious, and other. And they unlock various actions, some unique to the struggle, some locked behind the perks normally, but they are available to everyone within a certain phase. And there's also a lot of modifiers. For example, I think is it in the opportunity or is it in the hostility phase where control is affected?
I can't remember, but we can take a look. That is in the other part right here.
That one, for example, where development growth is lower, which points you towards a more hostile play style, because when hostility is the norm, you don't just sit and develop your lands, for example.
Yeah, we're too busy fighting. We have some new, as part of of our family, we have some new Dynasty Perks. That's the wrong button. I know where this is. So, tell us about Metropolitan.
Metropolitan is all about development and cities, and go through the various bonuses.
Influential city is giving monthly development growth in its county by 20%. And
normally you might not be very motivated to build and upgrade cities, but with this track, you very much are.
So you can build up a lot of development growth just from having a lot of cities within one county. The Republic entered education, which is a wonderful little thing where your dynasty can get some extra education from just being in a highly developed area.
Exactly. High development means you get more stats, stewardship and learning specifically, and stewardship is very good. So you're motivated to stack cities in your capital, develop it really highly, and then reap the benefits.
City holding and buildings construction time just goes faster, and also when you this one I also like just making buildings in your cities, just getting prestige and attracting like guests. Just get more people to come to your place, your home, your realm. And finally, the flourishing cities, which unlocks a decision. Shall we spoil that, or shall we keep that up? Like,
let everyone... at the game concept real quick.
Yeah,
it's not exactly a secret.
Come on, there we go. Yeah, that's
unique.
That's strong. Building slots are at a premium.
Yeah, you can get some truly massive amounts of money if you pursue the metropolitan path.
Next one is the coterie. All about the family.
And the inner circle of family members. This is my favorite one, especially the first unlocked legacy here.
Nepotism?
Which is nepotism incarnate.
Nepotism in our Crusader Kings. Who designed such a thing? Here's another very strong one. Just gaining 10% of your counselor's primary skills.
This can be a lot, or it can be very little, depending on how you play. But if you have a very high-skilled council, this is a lot.
I've seen... I liked having... I personally like having very skilled counselors. Not necessarily my powerful vassals, unless I'm playing a clan, in which case I will definitely appease my powerful vassals. But, you know... next one is unity, because there's a thing when it comes to spreading your dynasty everywhere, right? And when you do that, you may not always stay the culture head, but you want to be the one. You want to have your family come and help you out, right? And if your family is situated on all the thrones in Europe, and you have unity, well, all of a sudden it becomes a whole lot more difficult for enemies to attack your family, and you to it just makes things easier, right? To just dogpile on someone.
And maybe a bit ironically, but having this, if you have a realm full of your own house members, it makes it more peaceful, because they know that if they attack, there will be more repercussions from their neighbors.
Next up is the share information. What does this thing do?
What it says on the tin. You will have your family members sharing secrets with you. You can share secrets with them.
All of a sudden, like, you will, hey, did you hear the Pope is a cannibal?
Exactly.
I think that's one of my favorite things. Just like, hey, did you know that your priest is a cannibal? You can do something with this. We've done this here on the channel before, where incidentally, also during a run with Castile, and we just found, hey, our realm priest is a cannibal. We can form medieval CIA. And finally, pragmatic roots.
This is incredibly powerful.
Just disinheriting children for prestige and tyranny. Just leave your family's renown out of it, because this is personal.
Exactly. We are pragmatic here. We did not really talk about the ending decisions.
No.
So what is a struggle? Well, a struggle can go on forever, but most likely it will end eventually. And you end a struggle by being in a specific phase and taking one of 3 decisions. And they're all very, very hard to achieve. With lots of conditions.
So let's start with the dominance ones here. And it is your family's dominance over this area. And we can just look at the effects first. We get a lot of renown. Like, a lot of renown. 10,000 is nothing to scoff at.
No.
And we also get a nickname associated with the ending of this phase. Like, we have the Conquistador, we have the Pragmatic, and finally we have the Equitable. Another thing is that the Struggle Clash, which is a Casus Belli, like,
one of my favorite ones, actually,
remains available, which is incredibly powerful. And So if you haven't been in this area quite yet and haven't seen this being used, it's a casus belli that basically says, I'm going to push my borders out one field with you. And I mean, we're just we have Santiago right here. Not much bordering us, right? We have one neighbor down in Andalusia here, which is Portugal, and clashing will only give us this province, just one province. But if we take that province, then we
suddenly border
two counties. And that means we can then take both of these in a single war. And then we can only target 2 more because we need to get past down here. But say we held Itania down here, and only Itania as one of these, as our own thing. I believe we will in a struggle clash, we would take basically every single neighbor. So
you push the border. I feel like this very nicely shows the back and forth, the pull between north and south, especially with the borders moving organically rather than, for example, an entire duchy being seized, where a duchy can have any strange shape that might look out of place. But when it comes to the ending decisions,
yes,
a few of them, I mean, the dominance one is so obvious. You form Spain and you become powerful and get modifiers. The other ones are a bit more special.
Yes, let's look at the status quo, because I think that's the most interesting of them.
Yeah,
in what it does.
It's described by our designers as the I take my ball and go home decision. It's you're tired, you don't want to fight anymore, you don't want to give up, so you decide that this is fine. So Hispania is permanently destroyed. And instead, a few decently sized kingdoms will form. They will be mostly based on the realms that exist right here, right now. And then they will be formed into empires, also based on what's right here, right now.
I'm not still sure how the progress to the struggle relates to your own progress. Like, if I conquer all of Hispania, will the struggle automatically end?
Not necessarily. You still have to... you have to fulfill one of the ending decisions, because just because you own all of Spain doesn't mean that the struggle isn't going on within you. I mean, if you look at the map in 867, most of Spain is under Al-Andalus. They have a vast majority, but they aren't necessarily in a position to end the struggle. So it's about much more than just conquering. Actually, one way to end the struggle is by not being part of the struggle outside of it. For example, let's say West Francia, and you take over all of the region. Then you can just say, what is this? No, I don't care, and end it. And then you also crush the dream of Spain. But that's not obvious. That's obviously not done through the struggle interface, because then you're not part of the struggle.
There's a lot of things going on here, like for the requirements of saying, now we're done.
Yeah, and the requirements are fueled by the phase you are in. If one of these endings require no independent ruler to be at war, then the phase you're in gives you an interaction where you can ask people or demand that they stop fighting, for example. So you can always try and achieve this end state, and you don't have to rely on blind luck.
And on that note, the actors, the other characters around us, they have their own agenda in what they want to achieve from the struggle, correct?
Yes, they try to either drive it towards hostility or conciliation, depending on their personality. So if someone wants to go towards the hostility ending, they will avoid doing things such as befriending or seducing, and instead do whatever catalysts give hostility points. So if you see a character appear frequently in the log, having done, for example, hostility catalysts, you might want to get rid of them if you're going for conciliation.
Which is a little bit ironic. We're gonna be peaceful, but I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah, you will learn of our peaceful ways by force. But this is the duality of man, right? It's not black and white. It's all gray.
The struggle will, depending on the phase, as we mentioned before, changes the rules of this area. And this also affects like those coming in from the outside. It's, for example, if you try to come in from the outside, declare war inwards, certain things can happen. Because the Iberian struggle is for, it's the Iberian struggle, and you dare come here to try and do something.
Yeah, you will mostly not get the good effects. And if you hold a Spanish county, for example, they will still get any county modifiers.
So there is.
Do we have any uninvolved rulers that are part? Or interlopers, they are called.
We have a few. We have two. So this one.
He's a Yemeni, so his culture is not involved.
So, as you can see here in the tooltips, they are an interloper. They have their capitals within the struggle region, but they do not have a faith in culture. Everyone else thinks they're nosy troublemakers, and
yes,
they're just everyone just don't like it.
Yeah, you can get other cultures and faiths involved if enough of it is in Spain. Or if you, for example, create a hybrid culture.
Of course, with a flavor pack is more just thematic things like music. We have some wonderful music going on, just for the cultures themselves. And we have, as you can see, there's some. The interface is a little bit different in terms of how it looks. The changes are just subtle, but they add that little extra touch, right?
They're very well thought through as well. If you go back to the music, as you mentioned, I do not know the names of the instruments themselves, but I know that we have used instruments that are native to the area, the classical sounds of Spain, especially medieval instruments, where we found people who actually play those instruments today and incorporated those into the mood tracks. So it's as Spanish as it can get when you listen to this music.
Let's see, Barbershop. And
I see you're going directly for the visuals.
Aren't those spectacles wonderful?
Yes, you can now be bespectacled.
And we're gonna take the let's see, where's the fabulous hat? I want the fabulous hat.
The bucket hats are my favorite. They just look so weird.
And we're gonna just make this wonderful thing here. It's just tons of different.
Why are you doing this?
It could be much worse. It could be Fabian.
You never looked at the last ending decision, by the way.
The Dante?
Yeah, or however you pronounce it.
The Tant.
Yeah. Which is the best one. Permanent peace. Let's intermarry and live happily.
Yes.
Of course, you disable holy wars and such permanently, but that's a small price to pay for tolerance and understanding.
And like one thing here is also this little line here. Permanently allows involved culture and faith rules to join each other's defensive wars against outside invaders of Iberia.
Yep.
I really like that because the whole if the struggle ends with this and someone from the outside comes in and wants to slice it a pie, all of a sudden they might find themselves in a fight with more than they reckoned with. Like all of a sudden, all of Iberia just says, "You can't do that."
Exactly.
And as you say, like the cultural acceptance comes in. You allow the marriage between involved cultures. There's no offensive wars between them, and you also get some pretty powerful bonuses for your house, just permanently, because your family is the one that ended it, not this character, but your family. It's a family thing.
This is a fantastic ending. If you're planning to combine this with what was it called? The Dynasty track from Royal Court. The one that is focused on multicultural empires. Because you can get so much opinion with different cultures and different faiths. Customs. Yes.
And we just
It's a true multicultural experience where you have an empire that can span the world.
so we have a bunch of Iberian clothing here for commoners, common Christians, and Muslims. We have, of course, for the entire spectrum, we have armor, and I really like these armor ones because, like, especially the Muslim one, it's like gambeson. Like, so many people, like the gambeson is such an underappreciated piece of armor in the modern day, but the gambeson is the like gambeson. I can never remember like how, but
Gambeson, I think.
it's one of those things that don't get enough credit in the modern history because it's a go-to armor of the Middle Ages, really. The like the chainmail and plate and stuff like that was so expensive. Who could afford that?
Personally, I just love the new patterns, especially on the Christian clothing. You had one that was the wavy zigzag.
This one.
Yes.
Makes
It's just so garish.
it makes I think the English royal court is like this, has this pattern, like in
Well, not in gold and green. But, so what I really, really love is the fact that there's a lot of new curly hairstyles. Being a curly-haired person myself, I feel seen, and they look great.
we had the
We only
droopy
had a
mustache.
handful before. Yes.
Mustache.
The typical droopy mustache that you may or may not see El Cid depicted with in various pictures. It's an interesting one.
El Cid. Now there is an interesting one. We don't have access to him right now because we're in the wrong starting date, but in the 1066 starting date, you can find El Cid, and he does things. He does El Cid things, and it's kind of hilarious to see him wander around. Oh, I really like the framing curls and with earrings here.
Yes.
And braids with jewels, fine curls with headband. Do like that. And
this time we did versions like with and without jewelry, which I think is great because it gives this distinction between high nobility and low-born characters.
It's a wonderful little detail there, and I like my jewelry. I do. Oh,
then you should pick something with a bit of jewelry on it, I think.
Let's see. I really like these framing curls. That is a very nice one. But we also have some wonderful headgear.
Yes.
The
wedge-shaped. What's it called?
Tocado.
Tocado, yes.
But like, I like this, but I like this tall plated Tocado more. But we have a new faction. It's the Vassals Are Angry nuclear option. It takes the independence faction to a whole new level and just says, yeah, we don't like you. We're just gonna wreck your day and just all become free.
Yes. It's not an overly common faction. It requires a lot of very angry people that would normally usually trend towards the independence faction.
Mm-hmm.
But it can also take people who would want claimants, but they don't have any they like. And then it just the angriest people will also want to do this, unless they can do something else like press their own claim.
So it's the last step, nuclear option. It's like nothing works. Okay, you're gone.
Yep.
This is important. We're going to change character. Can I change the character? Now we're a clan. Modify vassal contract. This is the new. We have added clan contracts for the clan government type to give some extra flavor to these clans, and some of them are already known. We have seen them before. War declaration is sanctioned, council rights, revocation, things like that. But we also have some other ones that we have never seen before. And what can you tell us about Ghazi? That's
so the Ghazi one, I don't remember exactly what the what a Ghazi is, but it definitely it gives you piety. It gives them piety and you piety in exchange for less taxes and less levies. Unlike feudal vassals, you cannot modify obligations. You cannot say you should give me this much money. But both this one and the Icta grant modifies how much they give you and replace it for something else. I believe there's also one that gives man-at-arms cost reduction, so you can trade a lot of levies for cheaper man-at-arms.
Let's see. I think that is the Icta one. Yes.
Yeah, that is the Icta one.
But like, so one interesting thing about the Ghazi status one, though, that is, if you like wars, is that it your vassals will pay less piety for the holy wars. So
yes.
It
it's a way to encourage them to go out and war.
Yes, and another thing is also the marriage favor, which is a very special one.
It essentially makes the vassals have a hook, but only for marriages, so that they can decide that, yes, your second daughter should marry me, because that's something you have promised, and you cannot say no. But there are some new decisions in the menu, right?
Yes, let's see. Here we go. So now we are observing another ruler. We have we have founding the Kingdom of Aragon, and it requires a few things. Just know.
It forms the Aragonese culture, I do believe.
Let's see. Yes, you adopt the Aragonese culture, which has Visigothic codes, which is very good.
Right. We didn't look at all of the traditions, but there you have another one, state ransoming.
Yes. How incidental. It's codified capture and ransoming of prisoners. Just like we don't kill people here. We're too civilized for this.
Yeah, you lose way fewer levies and knights, but you lose a bit of money while you're at war.
It's just what it's a nice thing, like you can also feel a bit safer with your characters. Just you've invested a lot of time into your knights, or you can also have your heir be a knight, make them show themselves, prove themselves.
Even though the negative 25% gold there might seem off-putting, you can also ransom lower tier characters for much more gold, which means that all of those knights that you capture, you actually get more than just 10 or 20 gold for them.
So it balances
quite a bit of money.
It's balanced up. So the Aragonese culture just starts out pretty powerful with state ransoming, ritualized friendship.
Did we talk anything about ritualized friendship, by the way?
We haven't talked about it enough.
So if you are my friend and we have this tradition, we would be able to shake hands and say that we now have an unbreakable bond of friendship. And what this means in practice is that we're going to be extreme drama queens about our friendships. And really go into theatrics to show off just how good friends we are.
We are the best of friends.
And when you have a best friend, you can synergize the friendship. So let's say that you are martially trained and I am trained in learning. We could say that we will synergize our friendship based on both of our strengths. And that would give us more martial and more learning until one of us dies. And when one of us dies, our minds explode, because that is dramatic.
We shall swear the oath of true friendship with our wonderful friend, the Count of Santiago.
And he will accept.
And now, of course, they will accept.
And now we can.
We shall make you you are a fantastic steward, and I am a fantastic marshal. So we shall they will become more martial inclined, but let's instead make it a synergistic thing, and we both draw from this, and both get a
even
bonus.
more stress.
And stress is so. If you're so inclined, if you want to have a complete breakdown, have a lot of friends, synergize your friendship, and also have the diligent personality trait just to make it even better, so you can't.
Well, you can only have
stress.
one best friend, but when you do this, you get a strong hook, the best friend hook, so you can force them to do anything, like murder your child for me. But every time you use that strong hook, you will gain a lot of stress. And if you have synergized your friendship, that's even more stress.
So let's see here. What can we do here? If we're just like, we're just going to use our hook. We're gonna use a best friend hook on our dear friend here. And let's see. Oh, 72 stress. Just whoo. Oh yes.
Oh no, what did I do to my best friend? But you're lucky. You can just go out and walk it off. You've got the athletic trait there.
But I took the drunkard one because that's more fun.
Yes.
So we have more stuff, more things there. There's a lot of fun interactions that we have just added, and I really like them. Another thing was we just, foment revolt. If you wanted to sabotage others.
Yes.
This is something I believe comes from the Clash itself right now. Just tell the peasants, hey, your lord isn't quite that nice. How about I give you some
grease some pockets.
Grease some pockets.
Put some money in there.
And
in their greedy hands and have them pick up the pitchforks.
You can see the entire patch notes on our forum, which has in the latest dev diary. It's a good bunch of things with the balances, the free content, the paid content, and just improvements in general. Until next time, that is to say next week, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time. Until then. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you like this, there's more stuff right here, and you can find us more on twitch.tv/ParadoxInteractive. Join us.